There are quite a few options out there when it comes to multicam live streaming, but when it comes to ultra portable multicam live streaming, there are a lot of pros to the YoloBox Pro. Yo. So today I want to share with you some of the features and capabilities and just kind of awesome stuff that you can do with the YoloBox Pro. But before we dive into that, just a few quick disclaimers. The first being that YoloBox did send me the YoloBox Pro for free, but I do not have to make a video about it. Basically, they just wanted some input and some feedback. I'm under no obligation to make a video. I don't have to say anything specific in a video. They don't get to look at a video before I publish it if I do make one. I'm making this video because I've been using the YoloBox Pro for a few months now, and I really, really like it. It's not something that's just for everyone immediately because it's not an inexpensive device. It retails for about $1,300. But if you're somebody who has a workflow that can benefit from what the YoloBox Pro gives, it's worth that money and so much more. I keep thinking back to when I was a high school digital media teacher and we would set up multicam live streaming events. It would sometimes take 2 to 3 hours just to set things up, plus another, hour and a half after the event, plus whatever the time of the event was. It was really exhausting to do these multicam events because of the setup process. If I had had this when we were doing that, it would have been such a time saver. And because of that, we probably would have been actually able to do more events because it wouldn't have been such a pain to do everything. And in talking with YoloBox, they did tell me that a lot of their customers are schools and churches and organizations like that that do multicam live streaming regularly. But of course, if you're an individual, it could fit very well into your workflow. So what the heck is the YoloBox Pro to begin with? Well, it's listed as a portable multi-camera encoder, streamer, switcher, monitor, and recorder. Does a lot of things. So in terms of physical design, the YoloBox it looks a lot like an on-camera monitor or recorder, something like an Atomos Ninja or something like that, although it's a little bit bigger. It is, what are the dimensions? 8.6 inches by 5.1 inches by 1.1 inches. And how much does it weigh? It weighs 750 grams. So it really looks and feels like an on-camera monitor recorder because it's kind of what it is, but just with some different functionality. It's very well built. It's pretty like rugged and rubbery feeling, and you don't really feel like you have to be super delicate with it, although of course you do want to take care of it. And basically on the sides, you don't have anything. On the bottom, you have an SD card slot, you have a SIM card tray, you have the power button, and you have a 1/4-20 tripod mount. And then on the top, you have all of the different I/O ports. And that's what makes the YoloBox so special, is it has 3 HDMI inputs. So it's kind of going into the world of the A10 Mini, which has 4 HDMI inputs, but it also has a USB input. So you could connect something like a webcam to it and use that in addition to your HDMI sources. And it's got an HDMI output, so you can send the signal from the YoloBox into something else if you want to send it into some other kind of system or device or monitor or whatever it might be. Then it also has USB Type-C for connecting to different devices. It's got a headphone output. It has audio inputs for both mic and line inputs. So if you're doing something direct with a microphone or you're doing something else that involves a line output, like you're coming from a mixer or something, you can connect that straight to the YoloBox. And it has a USB-C charging port. I really like that because the charging port is separate, so that means when you have everything connected, you can still charge it or run it off of wall power if you need to, and it's not taking up one of the other usable ports. So basically now you've ended up with multiple video sources that you can switch between during live streams, and you can live stream directly from the YoloBox. Now you might remember I did make a video about the original YoloBox, and it worked pretty well, but I had some issues getting the best quality out of it, and it turns out that was because of the cameras that I was using with it. Basically, the original YoloBox sometimes had trouble communicating well with Canon cameras, and it turns out that if you got something like this, which is a little HDMI encoder, these are about $20, then it would help translate the Canon camera's information to the YoloBox, and it would work really well. So that did solve that problem quite a bit. In terms of camera compatibility, the YoloBox Pro has taken everything that I've thrown at it. So I've connected Canon cameras, Sony cameras, GoPros, computers, gaming consoles, basically anything I've connected to it at any frame rate has been able to work within the YoloBox. The actual output for streams and recordings is 1080/60, so that's the actual maximum of the YoloBox. but it hasn't stuttered for a second with any kind of input that I've connected to it. Now, one of the big benefits too of the YoloBox is that it is updated, it feels like kind of constantly, like every few weeks or every month or so, there's another update. In fact, as I'm recording this video, there's an update that pops up that's gonna allow us to do chroma key green screen. We can set bitrate control at up to 50,000 kbps. We can record continuously in one single clip. We can live stream to Facebook under single platform streaming, and of course, just standard bug fixes and improvements. So anytime an update is available, when you turn on the device and it connects to a network, it'll pop up, and then you just click the install button, and the update will install, and then you're good to go. And so you have a lot of options on where you can stream to. You can go, of course, to YouTube and Facebook, Twitch, or you can just enter in your own RTMP link and stream to, you know, if you have like your own network or your own setup or something like that. And when you create a stream, you can see all the different platforms there that you can stream to, so that way you can choose one or multiple if you want to stream to multiple platforms at once, which is kind of amazing because sometimes you have to pay for additional services to stream to more than one platform. And again, you can do that just right out of the box. And when it comes to streaming, you have a few different options of how you can connect the YoloBox. The easiest way that I use most of the time is just Wi-Fi. It connects easily to any Wi-Fi network, whether that's your regular router or even just a hotspot on your phone. That's one of the easiest ways to make this mobile. You can also insert a SIM card if you have a SIM card that's connected to a data plan, and that way it will run entirely independently. You don't need an external network or anything. You can just do everything from the YoloBox. And of course, you have an Ethernet port up on the top, so you can hardwire it in and connect that way. You basically have every option that you could want in terms of ways to connect to networks to stream. And everything is controlled through the touchscreen, which fortunately this does run on an Android operating system, so its responsiveness and the way that it works feels very much just like a smartphone. It's not a crummy touchscreen that's not responsive or anything. It's a really nice display. It is an 8-inch LCD display. The original YoloBox had a 7-inch, and it has a brightness rating of 400 nits. So it's pretty darn bright. As you might know, I live in the desert and I've been able to use this outside pretty easily from time to time without it being totally washed out by the sun or anything like that. So it's a really nice display. And it does say that the chip inside is a Qualcomm 660, but I'm not qualified to talk about Qualcomm because I don't have a lot of experience with that. All I know is it works good. Now let's get into some of the basic functionality of how you would set up a stream. So you can connect your cameras here. In this case, I actually have the camera that I'm recording with this video connected right here. And then I'll also connect my Sony RX100 because then it'll give me another input. And as I'm recording, you might hear the YoloBox's fan turn on and off. I'm just gonna leave that in so that way you can see if the fan noise is fine or if you feel like it's too loud. You can just hear a real world application of the fan noise and see if you're a fan of the fan. Now I'm doing some demos in here right now, but I'll also put a link in the description to like a 2-hour live stream that I did entirely on the YoloBox recently, where I streamed the process of me recording a video. So you can see how well it handled a long live stream with multiple cameras, bringing up comments, interacting with people, and doing all kinds of stuff like that. So for now, just to show you some of the basics, I've got my two sources right here. I've got the Sony RX100, and then I've got the camera that I'm recording on. And to switch between them, I just tap the different cameras, and that's how you switch. You can set transitions if you want to go through different transitions just by tapping on the little gear icon, and then you've got all these different ones here. And basically when you select a transition, then you can just click or tap, I should say, on the video source, and it will transition that way between them. And it works really well. There's goofy ones like this cube transition. Even the cheesiest ones I think are actually usable in certain situations. It's not like old, I don't know, PowerPoint slide transitions where it's like, oh my gosh, these are so ridiculously cheesy, I would never use these in real life. I think these are really, really helpful. And of course, one of the easiest ones is just, they're calling it a fade, but it's just a nice cross dissolve. So typically when I'm doing a multi-camera stream, I'm either using a cross dissolve if it calls for it, or I'm just using a standard cut, which is the default transition. Probably one of the best transitions in all of video production is just the regular old cut. Now down at the bottom here, you do have an icon for comments where you can bring up comments if you are streaming. I'm not streaming right now, so there's no comments to bring up. There's also a scoreboard functionality, which we'll talk about a little bit later. You can also have full control over your audio, so you can select which audio sources you want to take audio from or not. You can adjust the levels on those sources. And as you can see, there's a lot of different options. So you can match some of the HDMI sources with an external source, or you can mute them or whatever it might be. Or you can even use automatic switching, which means the YoloBox will just detect which thing to use on its own. I usually do like to select manually which one that I want to use because I think that works the best. And of course you do have the option for graphics. So in this case, I just have a little bar that will pop up on the bottom of the screen. But you can easily add in titles and graphics from an SD card, or you can build your own from within the YoloBox. And of course, if you want to see your stream at a larger size, you can just click the little expand icon and it will fill up the whole frame. So you can still bring up all your audio sources and switch between them even in full screen mode. And the built-in battery is a 10,000 milliamp hour battery, so it lasts a pretty long time. It's tough to give an exact amount of time of how long the battery will last because so much depends on how many devices you're using, what kind of network you're using, how bright the display is, how many platforms you're streaming to, so it can vary quite a bit. But I've been able to get through several hours of streaming off of the battery with no issues, and it works really well. And of course you can also then run it off of USB-C power as well. Now when you get the YoloBox, in the YoloBox box, you'll get 2 USB-C charging cables, one that's USB-C on both sides and one that's C to A if you need that. And then you also get this little mount here, which is kind of like the small rig monitor mount, so this works really well to secure the YoloBox. Now you can charge and power the YoloBox through USB. This is a 12 volt USB 3.0 adapter, and this works well not just for charging it, but also keeping it at full charge while it's running. The reason you might want to do that is if you want to start your stream on power, so that way you have full battery, and then at a certain point unplug it, and then go low somewhere else, so that way you can stream from a different location and you'll have a full battery when you do that. Now in terms of resolution, the YoloBox is a 1080 streaming device, so it's not 4K or anything like that, but the quality is good. Like, it's really nice 1080. And if you insert an SD card into the YoloBox, then you have the option to also record to the SD card. So right now, for example, I can press the little record button, click on start recording. Now the important thing to note is that while you can record internally to the YoloBox, it does not take the place of something like an Atomos Ninja. This does not do like full-on raw, ProRes insane recording or anything. It's just recording a 1080 file to an SD card. And for reference, what you're looking at right now is a 4K video from the Sony a7S III that was edited in Final Cut Pro. And now this is 1080 footage from the SD card on the YoloBox Pro, and it's in Final Cut scaled up to 4K so that it fits on the video. I guess I could put it down to 1080 so you can see its normal resolution, and this is what it would look like at 1080, but if I scale it up to 4K, this is what that looks like here. I think that this is significantly more usable than the original recording capabilities that I've encountered on the first YoloBox. And even though this won't take the place of a dedicated recorder like a Ninja, I do think that this is usable quality of recording if you want to grab a quick clip or archive a stream or record to an SD card because, I don't know, your camera has a recording limit or something like that. And this could be a way to get around that. And now as we're talking about the SD card, we can dive into some of the more advanced features of the YoloBox because SD Lightful. So what I've done is I put a couple video clips and PNG images on the SD card. So basically I had a PNG image of my website logo, and I can move that around just by dragging it, and I can also change the size here by scaling it up and positioning it wherever I want. So that's an easy way to add in PNG graphics and overlays. And once you've got your graphics set the way you want, they just show up here and you can just tap on the different ones that you want to turn on and tap it again to turn it off. The same thing happens during a live stream with comments. The comments will just pop up. You tap on the comment that you want to turn on, tap it again to turn it off, and it'll put the comment right up on screen, which is super cool. Now here's another cool thing though, is we can click add video source, and we have a lot of options. So we have the option to preload 2 different video clips from the SD card, a PDF, we can do side-by-side stuff, split view things. If I tap on the SD card, I can see these clips. I have my logo icon that I use at the beginning of my videos. I can put that there and click done. And now as you'll see, that icon is a video source down here. So if I tap on that, it will play that video clip right from the SD card. Now that clip from earlier will show up here as a source, and I can just tap on that. That's not happening live, by the way. That was from earlier. And if I go to what is live, then I can, hello, that's live right now. This clip will just pick up right where I left off on it. So it's like, you can have the clip restart when you go to it, or you can have it set where it just picks up right where you left off. So it's great if you wanted to comment on something, you could have the clip running, switch back to you, switch back to the clip, and it'll pick up where you left off. And you can have it either continue playing when you're switching, which means it's not going to stop at all, it'll just keep going. You can have it pause, or you can have it restart when you switch back to it. So you have, I don't know what other options you would want. It's like all the options, right? Now I've also mentioned things like comments, overlays, and sports scores, and you can do all that stuff, and you can also customize it, which is really cool because you can't spell custom without Tom. And I have eyes, Tom eyes, because Tom eyes. And using the scoreboard display is pretty darn simple. You can just turn it on right here by tapping this little switch, and then you've got your scoreboard icon, and you have all kinds of different options that you can choose from to customize. So as you can see here, this is where you can update the team names, the scores, you can add timings, you can go into team info and change team names and colors. You could even add in a logo if a team has a specific logo that you want to use. And of course you can change the size as well. And then this is where you would just change the scores. So if a team scores, you just boop, 1, and then there we go. Again, as someone who used to live stream high school sporting events, this would be worth it almost just for that feature alone, because that was such a hard thing to figure out, and the fact that it's so easy and so customizable is amazing. The same thing goes with overlays. So if I go into the overlay menu and I don't want to create something from the SD card, but instead I just click the little plus icon and then click a lower third, there are already some cool options in here that are pretty usable. And if I want to select one of these, I can do that, and then I have the same customization options for that lower third. And there's a decent number of fonts to choose from if you want to change your font on a built-in graphic. You can change basically everything about it: the transparency, the title, the scale. You can really like tweak these templates to be customized to whatever your design tastes might be. Another advanced feature that came out, which I've actually been using all day, is monitor mode. And this was something that I wanted really badly on the original YoloBox, and it didn't exist, because even though you would be insane to buy this just to use as a monitor because it's too expensive just to be a monitor, it is a beautiful display. And if you're not using it for streaming and you're not using it for switching, to me it seemed like a shame to just have this really beautiful bright display not really being used. So now this is basically what the home screen looks like. If you want to do something, you just press the plus icon, and now you have two options. You have the option to start a stream or the option to go into monitor mode. If you create a live stream, that's where you can start entering in all your stream information, and then you will go into basically the interface that you've been seeing all day. If you choose monitor mode, then it will bypass all that, and now you just get to monitor what you're doing. And of course, like I mentioned, and like I've been doing all day, you can make that bigger, and now what you're monitoring will take up the full screen, and then this is a great display. And if you want to know who to thank for that, aside from the developers who actually did the work, the software update that introduced monitor mode might have given you a bit of a clue. But that actually ties into something that I really like about the YoloBox, which is that they listen. I feel like the more that I've gotten to know a few of the people behind the scenes, and the more I've gotten to know the product, it's not just a product that's put out there, but similarly to how the Rodecaster Pro is constantly being updated and evolved through firmware updates, the YoloBox is also being constantly updated and evolved. And I genuinely believe they are trying to make the best product they can, so you're not gonna buy this and it's just sort of stuck in the state that it came in when you bought it. You can look forward to all kinds of updates and support down the line while you have it, and it just gets better and better. And as you probably saw at the beginning of this video, I just installed a recent update which included green screen and chroma keying. So let's check out some green screen magic, and you can be green screaming with envy. I just borrowed this from Heather. This is the Elgato green screen, and it's totally self-contained, so if you need a green screen, you Elgato get one. Just raise it up and that's it. And setting up a green screen or a chroma key is actually incredibly simple. Basically, you might notice the quality shift as I switch to some of the recordings from the YoloBox versus the native 4K, but it should still be pretty decent. So basically, all you have to do is I have my green screen set up here. In the corner of my image down here, there's a little icon that looks like a profile kind of up here. If I tap on that, it brings up a keying switch, and if I turn that on, boom. And there are some options. So the first thing is I can do a background image, and you can also change some of the settings here. So this is the similarity setting, which is going to be essentially how similar to green you want things to be keyed out. I do happen to have a microphone right here that has a green windscreen, so I could actually make my microphone disappear by doing that, which is, hey, cool. If you don't want the mic on screen, get a green windscreen, yo. And then there's a smoothness setting, which will sort of adjust the edges, basically. So if I hold up my hand here, you can kind of see there's like a white outline on the background. And if I play around with the smoothness, I can try to get that as good as possible. This actually looks pretty decent. Now what you might notice is down here at the bottom, it talks about what to do if you want to use a video background. You use the picture-in-picture function, basically. I go back to my switcher, add a video source, add picture-in-picture video, and it says to select a main screen, so I'm gonna use HDMI 2, which is my Sony RX100, and then it says to select the sub screen, which in this case, the only source that's left is the one with me on the green screen. I can also change the scale to make it bigger, and then I can move my picture-in-picture around. So if I set me in the corner over here, and now that becomes a video source, so when I tap on that, now you see the picture-in-picture with me and the image over here. Dang, look at this crazy GoPro right here, it's so big. So now if I zoom in and I try not to, touch the edge of the screen, now I've got a cool little, this is for my commentary channel here. I can comment on giant action cameras. Wow, this is a 10 out of 10. The green screen chroma key option is incredibly simple and works really, really well. And since this is literally the first version of it, I can only imagine that through customer feedback and just further development, it's gonna get more fully featured as time goes on. Here's also the magic of the Elgato screen. It folds up just like that. It's really cool. So thank you, Heather, for letting me borrow that. Now that we've seen all these features in action, let's put them to the test with a test stream. So now I'm in the backyard and it is super bright outside, and I have an entire mobile setup going, and I'm actually hot spotted to my phone. So everything's running super mobile. I have the Canon EOS R right here, and if I switch, boom, there we go. Now I've got the Sony a7S III showing you my setup. So there's the Canon, there's the YoloBox, there's the Hollyland Mars, which is what is on top of this camera. I can switch everything over here, and actually you can see, look at this. Wait, there it is. Yeah, there you go. You can see this setup here. I have the Deity, what is this? Pocket wireless. It's really good. And then I have that right here. So that's that entire setup. I can see my test comment, and I can pop that up on stream. See? Totally works. Yeah, the whole thing is just on one tripod. So what I could actually do is literally take my entire live stream setup, and now I'm in an entirely different location with the whole thing right here. So this is working out exceptionally well, and I'm pretty sure you can probably see what kind of ideas you could have, because this is also only 2 cameras. I still have room for one more HDMI source and one webcam source. Now the last thing I realized is that since this is all green, I'm gonna try a green screen thing. So I've got this picture-in-picture shot here, but watch this. If I key me out, the trees are green. Done. Hey, look at this. I'm in here. We're using this mouse and this keyboard right here, typing stuff. Super realistic. Definitely not just in front of a tree. Now, there are other features that I haven't dived into today, but this video doesn't need to be 8 hours long. You can change a lot of encoding settings, you can customize a lot of things, and as I've mentioned, so much changes with every software update that you kind of never run out of options and possibilities with the YoloBox Pro. So ultimately, and considering all this is in something that's not much different in size from the A10 Mini, which, I love the A10 Mini and it has a specific purpose as well, but the fact you can do everything top to bottom for a multicam live stream in this is kind of amazing. And so for me, where this fits into my workflow, when I'm in this room, this studio that has a full-on Ecamm, ATEM computer setup here, that's what I'm gonna be using for streaming most of the time, because that's what I have, that's what I really like, and it is incredibly even more fully feature rich. But it's not unreasonable to think that you could take something like the YoloBox, and if you don't have a setup like that, or you don't have all that software, or you want something simpler, this could be your main streaming setup. And for me, where it comes into play is if I want to stream not in this specific room. If I want to stream anywhere else, then this is my go-to thing to use for that, because it will let me go to other places to stream. And of course, because this now has monitor mode, I don't just use it when I'm streaming, but it's pretty much always set up, because now I can use it as a nice, big, beautiful external monitor. So if you're someone who has that specific kind of workflow where the YoloBox is gonna bring in a whole bunch of functionality and just really save a bunch of time and energy, it's absolutely worth it. And the YoloBox Pro so far has been nothing but pros. I don't really have any cons to it to talk about. It's just been constantly awesome. Speaking of things that are awesome, thank you to everyone who helps support my channel through Patreon and YouTube channel memberships. I appreciate that. I just appreciate it. So thank you so much. And if you want to know more about live streaming tips and tricks and all that fun stuff, I do have a live streaming tips and tricks playlist right here that you can click on, and I will see you in one of those videos.